All right, I'm going to go ahead and go over a few questions for Section 8 of Module 8. Uh, First question is, society has changed over the past decade from style to language and even environmental resources. Give an example of how social change has affected. Um, how it affected the physical environment. Well, a prime example would be the borders, current issues with the border. Cities and suburbs are also affected in communities. Their cultural differences are starting to come out. It's affecting the population. An example for that would be population fluctuations. That has to do like with genocide in Africa, anti-Tutsi settlement, a Hutu power back in the 8th July of 1994, where over 1 million people had to experience genocide, a lot of deaths. Childbirth limitations in China, 2018. People were only allowed to go and have one child. There would be repercussions for having more. And also the sex birthing discrimination over in China. Basically, having a male is predominantly better than having a female. So they can be better, bring it into the household, better financially, according to them. So innovation mass media has also changed in society. By 2020, we should be over about 5 million internet users. Basically, over 80 billion connected worldwide on devices. And what that's going to do is going to be able to have people to be able to work at home. The surrounding environment's going to change. Entertainment, remote people are going to be able to work remotely. Therefore, any place that was remote is going to go ahead and start seeing populations. So there's going to be a lot of changing in there. Also, I'm going to discuss a little about diffusion. Diffusion is known as basically culture going across, spread from one society to a social group to another. Which is going to happen dramatically when it comes to the type of technology we have now. It's going to really go ahead and push the social change. Also, as processed through innovations are introduced to organization or social group. Yeah, you can call those, I guess, diffusion of innovations. Yeah, diffusions of innovations. Basically, the spread of the includes like ideas, values, concepts, knowledge, practices, behaviors from one culture to another, materials, symbols, things like that. Um, we can go ahead and one example of that could be possibly United States with Sweden. Sweden takes on, they're very environmentally considerate. A lot of the United States is going ahead and collaborating with them, although current president right now kind of stepped out of the Paris Agreement, so we might see a little bit of lag time when it comes to the United States with that. Other countries might go ahead and surpass us when it comes to environmental conservation and going ahead and protect the environment. So I'm going to move on to the next question. The information revolution was and is and still is important perspective in social change. And in my opinion, how has it changed society, and how do you feel it will change society in the future? Well, I believe the diffusion is going to be more fluid and it's going to be at a faster pace. I believe that comparison amongst countries of government regulations and customs will be more abrupt. I believe that cultural beliefs in other countries will be tested due to they'll be able to go ahead and see, hear, and observe what's going on in other countries and possibly want to go ahead and start mimicking them. I also believe that family values and dynamics will change in other countries. I believe that due to the overwhelming information, I believe this might happen. So what I do see is that because the media, things like that, they will give the good part of everything, so everybody will be covet and start wanting what another country has, and therefore a lot of their culture, a lot of their beliefs, their morals or values, things like that, that otherwise their country was built on, will start to go ahead and get tested and get changed and manipulated. Laws will start to go ahead and pop up where they normally weren't in other countries. So I think it's gonna be something to see. So okay, next question is how has modernization changed many underdeveloped nations? I believe modernization of underdeveloped countries have changed for good and have changed for the bad. I see the cons of modernization of other third world countries and things are, like I mentioned, where the changes in values, family changes and dilemmas start to uprise. I see the pros about it will be representation of their countries is more worldwide and more widespread, so they might get support from other countries because of the modernization. And one of the big things that I've noticed and I've done research on is the healthcare. Healthcare has been affected, and advancements are starting to get shared amongst other countries. So that's a great thing. So they can go ahead and benefit from that. Next question I always have would be, what are the types of social movements that have occurred in history? When and why did they occur? Okay. Well, let's go ahead and speak first about redemptive social movement. That's kind of like at the individual level. They will advocate for radical changes. They would seek total personal transformation, and usually it has to do about religion. Prime example would be like the spread of Christianity. That would probably be the prime example of redemptive social movement. Next would be the reformative. Reformative movements are a movement that seeks to change like a specific aspect of how society functions. Prime example would be marriage rights and benefits for same-sex couples. Yeah, okay, yeah, marriage rights for benefits for same-sex couples, that'll probably be a good reformative movement example for a reformative movement. This would be a revolutionary. Revolutionaries are large. They want to change all the aspects of the society. They want to change. They can do a radical revolutionary movement, which would be they would want to go ahead and change not only the aspects of the society but also who runs it. One of a good revolutionary example would be like the South American guerrillas movements. They got a lot of militia down there in South America, Colombia, and places like that. So that'd be a good example. And then next we have the alternative. Alternative targets just like one behavior in a society. It can be small. It can be, for instance, like Mothers Against Drunk Driving, little movements like that. They will just target a smaller one aspect of a society. So my references that I used today for this small presentation, I use internet sources. I use Forbes magazine. I also used economic growth for the government, www.government.se, www.forbes.com. I also used our book. Our book is a prime example also. So, and that'll be all. Thank you.